Hello and welcome to season 3, episode 27, i.e., the last episode of the year for Quaint and Cozy KC. I am your host, Lainey Renee, and tonight I'm going to talk to you guys about New Year's Eve plans in Kansas City, like some specific places, and then, maybe some ideas if, maybe you don't want to do something, that's outside of your house or, whatever, like you just want to keep it more low key. Then I'm also going to talk to you about my experience at the Berkley Riverfront Park area. Like that was kind of, interesting. And then I'll talk to you about my experience at the Tim Murphy Art Gallery. Now, if you're a listener of the show, I've gone there before, but I've just got, some interesting takes. And then I also went to Macken Park. That is in downtown North Kansas City. So let's get this episode started because I want to try to keep it about 30 minutes or so. Hopefully, I can keep it down to that. But I got a lot of stuff to talk about. So let's start off with New Year's Eve. And let's say you are a social butterfly. You got your outfits ready to go. Now, I'll be honest with you, I always have some outfits ready to go. And you are in the Kansas City area. Well, I found this site in kansascity.com, and they have got this New Year's Eve parties in Kansas City. And so I'm like, okay, by Evan Pagano. So I'm like, okay, let's see, um, what they've got. And it looks like they have got like a whole bunch of stuff going on. Okay. So they start off with like the free entry stuff, right? The stuff that, you there where it's pretty low key, like you're paying for food, but it's not too, crazy. So it looks like they have got and they've got something, they're listing something up down Kansas City, and that's in the Crossroads. It's really cool. It's an arcade bar, and they sell pizza by the slice. I've been there a couple times. I love it. Um, it looks like they're going to be doing drawings every hour from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. There's going to be a free champagne toast and a ball drop at the stroke of midnight. That's kind of cool. That seems like a kind of a cool kind of thing. And it's really easy to get to. Now, parking can be a challenge over there. So if you can take an Uber, maybe if you've got friends who are in the Crossroads neighborhood or nearby, maybe you could park your car, take an Uber from their house, do that. Then there also looks like there is a blackout New Year's Eve party at Michelle's Neighborhood Bar and Grill. And I have never been to Michelle's neighborhood bar and grill. So I want to see. So it looks like that is actually in the Northland. And yeah, that looks like it is in the Northland. It's at 7102 North Oak Traffic Way in Gladstone. So okay, you could do that. And then there is New Year's Eve 2026 at Thirsty Bull Saloon. That's also up in the Northland of Kansas City. And then there's a New Year's Eve disco party at the Commons at the Block Brewery. And that is the Cinder Block Brewery is in North Kansas City as well. Okay, so those are just kind of like the free kind of like things. Then it looks like they've got, I love this so much, the way they have everything laid out, and but I think your best bet is to kind of go to the websites of those places that I mentioned, um and kind of see what's going on there as well, because things can change on a dime, so you just always want to call ahead, see what's going on. Then they also have like a $5 to $30 range. And it looks like there's a New Year's Eve in Paradise at the Margarita Hotel Kansas City. And I guess it's 24.92. You get a drink voucher, a late night snack, and a margarita for a midnight toast, plus some hors d'oeuvres and live music. And then the dress code is kind of like tropical chic resort wear. I love that. I'm getting, rest in peace, Jimmy Buffett. Those are the vibes that I'm getting, like a parrot head kind of deal. And so then also there is New Year's Eve at John's Big Deck, which is $5. And looks like there's also, I'm just going to skip around a little bit, the Vi Cocktail Lounge, Velvet and Vi Cocktail Lounge. And I'm going to see, I've not been to that one. And I actually want to look that up, just to make sure I'm kind of thinking of the same place. Uh, where it is, where it's located, because it's like I've never been there. So let's see here. It looks like, oof, sorry, I'm like waiting for my internet to go here. So it looks like this is on 2018 Main Street, Kansas City, Missouri. Okay, now parking can be a challenge down there. You probably want to try to take some kind of ride share, something like that. Maybe you've got a homebody person that's like, yeah, I'll go like drop you guys off. And if you guys can, get a ride share back home, go do that. Like, so, again, I did that one year when I wasn't really feeling like going out to New Year's Eve. I was kind of like a ride share person. I dropped a couple people off. I did not pick them up because I was, asleep pretty early, but I did drop them off. And that, saves you at least a one way of the fare. So now if you're gonna, do 30 to $100, it looks like the Power and Light District has New Year's Eve live, and there's different tiers. So I think the least expensive one, and again, you want to check and see if they're still even available, because I don't think it's going to be super cold on New Year's Eve. It's 86.63. So that is like the bare minimum. It gives you the access to the 11 bars and a non-alcoholic menu. And then if you go to the gold tier, it's 125.88. That's all inclusive drink packages and other perks. And then the platinum tier, that's 188.23. It's exclusive 12th venue, gourmet food stations, and a VIP viewing for the ball drop. Okay. So it looks like you've got that. And then there's a New Year's Eve party at Kansas City Renaissance Festival. I love that. That's about 52.35. Okay. It doesn't really say, what you get there. Let me see. Okay. So it looks like if you do that, it looks like you get some appetizer. There's appetizers going on. Okay, it's like yeah, it looks like they make appetizers. I don't know if that's, all included in the price. It might be extra. I don't know. Again, that's why it's always good to like, when you hear these things, go to their website, call them, find out. I don't know if people can even answer the phone anymore, but kind of do that. Then it looks like the Neon Future New Year's Eve blowout at the ship. I love that place. It's super cute. And that's 94.91 to 174. So now there are some, if you're feeling kind of like, festive, super festive and want to spend some money, there's like the 100 plus. You can go to the Kansas City New Year's Eve party at the View at Briarcliff. That's in the Northland. That's ranging from 200 $205 to about 292. And then the Fun House at the Crossroads Hotel, that's $218.87. And so I'm like, oh wow. And then Jay Rieger, I love that place. It's so beautiful. They have Le Grand Masquerade, and that's about $150 to $250. So yeah, I'm like, oh wow, that's there's some stuff to do, right? And so what if you just don't really feel like doing that? What if you're like, you know what? I'm gonna save that for next year. I just need to maybe have a nice, calm New Year's Eve. Okay, I got you. I got some options for you. So what you can do is now if you're solo and you're like, hey, I just want something quiet, I don't even really want to be around a lot of people, you can kind of do what I do is I'll take myself out to lunch if I kind of feel solo. Like I've most of the time I've ended up, going out to the movies and dinner and then I'm home by like 10 o'clock or whatever. But this year I really do kind of feel like I want to do something solo. I want to organize. 2025 was a great and busy year for me. And I know 2026 is going to be even busier. So I kind of want to like, kind of like rest my mind and prepare for that. That's kind of where I'm at. Now, that's what I'm saying right now. On actual New Year's Eve, it could totally change. Who knows? But so for a solo person, definitely check into like maybe taking yourself to lunch, maybe doing some takeout. If you want to go to a restaurant, some of the restaurants are requiring reservations, but not all of them do. Not all of them require those reservations. Some might close early, so you want to definitely look into that as well. And then maybe you want to cook yourself a nice New Year's Eve dinner, or put together a nice little snack board for New Year's Eve. I've got Aunt Lainey's Kitchen. I'll talk more about like doing the actual food, for New Year's Eve. But again, you maybe want to keep it really simple. Like maybe you want to watch the ball drop on TV or do like a movie marathon or a TV show marathon or just maybe clean and listen to podcasts or like a playlist. Okay. So maybe that's just what you want to do. Keep it really simple. Just, relax. Now, for people that are going to be like in couples or groups, maybe you're like, you know what? Let's do a game night. Let's have some people over for a game night, do something. And, just because it's a New Year's Eve party doesn't mean you're required to keep everybody there until midnight. I've gone to New Year's Eve parties. I've gone to like two, three stop New Year's Eve parties where we start off like at dinner, then we go to someone's house, we watch like a movie or something like that, or we do some play some games, and then by 10:15 it's over, and either we go to a bar, another bar nearby, and hang out to the bar, until it's time for midnight, or what we do is, we would just go back to our respective houses and go to bed. I mean, there were so many kind of things, but yeah, think about a game night, just something simple, nothing too complex. We're just there to have fun, maybe listen to music and chat, play some cards, just be really low key, or even cook dinner at someone's house or order a pizza. Just, chill and, take pictures, do all the stuff, maybe even dress up. I went to one party. We didn't really go, like we dressed up, we hung out in the house, and then probably around 10:45 we went out to a bar around the corner, and we were dressed up, and we kind of came in and hung out, and then we rang in the new year. We danced till about 12:30, and then we all kind of like went home, after that point. So again, it's as fun as you want it to be. I know sometimes, with food prices, all the things going on, you don't want to host a big blowout New Year's Eve party. You want to keep things low key. So I totally understand that as well. I know in my very younger days, we like the neighbors, we would get together. And I know neighbors, it's a little bit different now versus like the 90s, early 2000s. But, the neighbors would get together and kind of like do something on the street. And again, this is like, weather permitting, but I can even think of when I was living in colder places where, the neighbors would get together and someone always had that big backyard. And then, or they'd have something like on their back patio or, where people kind of go in and out because, you're in the party and then it's super hot because all the people and then you go outside or whatever. But they're, they'd be smoking meat, like doing that kind of stuff. And it was super fun. And then you kind of hang out and then you'd be like, okay, I guess it's time for, us to like, disperse whenever that is. But, you just kind of walk back to your own house and then, or, if you are someone who's like, you know what, I'm going to bed early on New Year's Eve. I'm not feeling the vibe. New Year's Day. Okay. New Year's Day. I've gone to so many great brunches, and I'll talk about that in my Aunt Lainey's Kitchen podcast when I upload that because that's more food based. But I've gone to a lot of great like we watched football, we did tailgating, like on the New Year's Day, we did a brunch, we walked around, we went to the movies. The movies are also a great kind of thing because I've gone to movies where you go to like the 7 o'clock movie or the 8 o'clock movie, you get out, maybe run to like a bar to celebrate New Year's Eve, or if you want to do that for New Year's Day, I've done that before. I think maybe I can't remember. It feels like it was 10 years ago. Maybe it was 9 years ago, but I remember going out and just watching like because we had that extra day. I can't remember. I think Christmas fell on Friday or something like that. So then we had Saturday and Sunday. And I can remember like, going, oh wow, we have like, this extra day. And so going to the movies like that whole weekend, just hanging out and going to the movies. It was crazy. It was great, but it was really good. Like it was a lot of fun doing that. And so that's another kind of thing to think about because, New Year's Eve is going to be on like, a Wednesday, and the New Year's Day is on Thursday. And then, the second of January is on Friday. Now you might have to go to work, I will be working, but then you've got that weekend right after, right? You've got the weekend, you've got that Saturday and the Sunday right after to kind of plan things as well. So that just sounds like, a lot of fun. So I'm thinking about New Year's Day, and, of course, there's all the traditions. You got to eat the black-eyed peas. You got to like, I think there's some cultures where you're not supposed to clean on New Year's Day, other cultures where you are supposed to clean on New Year's Day. I'm like, I'm gonna figure out what I need to do for, like what, from my own personal life. But yeah, like there's just so many cool things to think about when it comes to those traditions. And I think 2 years in a row, I didn't have black eyed peas, and those weren't the greatest years for me. So after that, my sister and my mom, well, they were insistent that I get the black eyed peas, that I go and, spend some time with them. And I love New Year's Day because it's so low key. Like you're going places, you're in like your tracksuit, or you're just really like casual. And because New Year's Eve, you put on all your fancy stuff, you danced around, and maybe, you're a little worse for wear the next day, but I do appreciate a good New Year's Eve brunch and get together with a football game, or like even like a just a 2 hour hang. I love these 2 hour hangs. I want to do a podcast. I'm gonna write that down. I want to do a podcast about, doing a 2 hour hang where you're just hanging out for 2 hours, right? It's kind of like a study hall. And that's something else to think about for New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, doing they call them admin parties where people get together. Like we did them in college. We didn't have laptops like that, but we would bring over things that we had to work on. Like, oh, I have to organize, or I have to write these thank you notes for something, or oh, I have to like make a list of things I need to do. So we would just hang out during our college years, and even afterwards. During college, we'd hang out in the dorm lounge and kind of get things together. And then after college, we'd hang out in someone's really small apartment, or we would go to like and get like a library study room, or we'd go to like a coffee shop, like a big coffee shop where it's pretty loud and whatever, and we would kind of go over all the things that we needed to do our objectives for the new year. Something interesting to kind of do. Okay, so now we're leaving New Year's Eve and New Year's behind. Now we're gonna walk on over to Berkley Riverfront Park. Now, Berkley Riverfront Park is a revelation to me because the last time I was there was 2019, and I think they just had apartments, and like I think they had volleyball courts back then. Sand volleyball. I think they had that, like in my mind, that's what I'm seeing. So I didn't think too much of it. And I remember at the time my friend saying, "Oh, they're going to develop this place." I'm like, "Okay," and not really again thinking anything of it. And then, I feel like, when they built the stadium for the women's soccer, the KC Current, and then, these things started kind of popping up. They started really developing the area because it's along the Missouri River. It is gorgeous. Now, I went there at night for the first time because I hadn't been, first time since 2019. I went there at night and it is gorgeous. It's this nice walkable place and it's beautiful at night. It was like all lit up and I really, really loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, this has such a vibe. And I know that they've got like a streetcar stop there. So you can take the streetcar and kind of get off of the streetcar and, go to a restaurant or something like that. I love that. That you're going to be able to do that. I'm not sure if the streetcar is definitely it's like built. The tracks down there are built. I'm not sure if they're using it yet, but it's if they're not, it's coming I think fairly soon. So I went to the Moonstone Bar, and that is in the two I think it's called Two Birds, One Stone building. That's like a whole restaurant thing. I went in there. And so as I'm walking around, I could not find the Moonstone. And I'll do a review and all that stuff on Alien's Kitchen. And this is just kind of like a social kind of thing where it's like, instead of, in the olden days, I would just go in to the hotel and ask them, hey, where do I find this place? But I didn't do that. I tried to follow the internet maps, like to take me there and all this stuff. And finally I ran into these other women and I'm like, are you looking for the Moonstone? They're like, yes. And I'm like, I cannot find it. Like my maps are taking me all around. So we're like, you know what? Why don't we go to the hotel like we would have in the olden days? I'm like, yes, let's do that. And so, we found out that we were in the Origin, I believe it's called the Origin Hotel. They're like, you know what? You need to like go across the street to the Two Birds, One Stone building. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, beautiful, just beautiful building, beautiful area. And it's one of those places where if I were coming to visit Kansas City and I was doing kind of like, because again, you're not very far away from downtown. Okay. You can take a ride share into, downtown. So, and also you're also close to the Northland. So if you wanted to go visit someone in the Northland or have them come visit you, it's not that far away. I was like, it took me maybe 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to kind of, get there and back. So I was like, oh wow, it's right off the highway, right off 35. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally kind of like, appreciate this. And it's a really quick place. Like if you just want to go meet up with people and you don't want to go all the way into downtown, go there. Now I will say parking can be a bit of a challenge over there. So like for me, but the it's not everything is walkable, right? So it wasn't like when I had to park. I wouldn't say super far, but I like when I first got there because I wasn't familiar and I was like using the internet map thing. I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and park here, walk around and see. And I'm like, I'm glad I did that because I would not have been able to find parking. So I think it's one of those things. And again, it might be super busy in the summertime. Like this is like, it's a little colder outside, but it might be super busy when the weather warms up. So that's something to keep in mind. That's why I feel like that's a great place to do a ride share. Also, it's kind of the place where everybody goes after the KC Current games too. That's something else to keep in mind. Like if the KC Current are playing, I don't know if you want to, go down there unless you want to be like, see like a lot of people maybe be packed into a bar. So that's just again something to think about. But I definitely will be going back. I will be returning to try some of the other places down there. Also, it seems like a great place to walk on, like during the daytime on maybe a 40, 50-degree day, you're walking around, even a 60 or 70-degree day. There's great trails over there as well and a beautiful view. Okay, so now let's go to Tim Murphy Art Gallery. So I belong to an orchid society, okay? And I know it sounds so, it's like, girl, you're in an orchid. Yes, I am in the Orchid Society. There's an Orchid Society of Greater Kansas City, and I love it. The people are so amazing. They're so gentle, and the membership's only $25 a year. And you go every month and you learn about orchids and other flowers. And it's just, I love it. And I love the people. And it's a great way. And it's just once a month, but it's a great way to kind of start my week, when I go in there. And so yeah, I love that. And also one of the benefits is that, I have to go to Miriam in Johnson County. So that gets me out of my little bubble, my lovely bubble north of the river. I have to leave it, and that's okay. And so it gives me this opportunity to explore, other places. And it's also near one of the Johnson County libraries. So I like that as well. I've talked about the Tim Murphy Art Gallery before, like, because I wasn't familiar with what it was. So I thought it was something where, they have the paintings or the art there and it just kind of stays there for a quarter. No. I think this is moving every month because every month I go there, there's new art. Now there's a section, so they've got newer exhibits. Now there's a section in the back where I think the art just kind of stays the same. But like, around the corner, I think the art kind of stays the same. But for the most part, they have these exhibits that, are there. I think they're there. I think it's like maybe like a monthly thing. It could be weekly. I don't know, but I love it. It's so amazing. Sometimes there'll be local artists like from schools or just, just other local artists. And then they seem, I think they might be like have an archery thing going on because I always see first place, second place kind of prizes. And so I really enjoy going there and I totally recommend it. And it's free. You can just go in there and there's like a rec center there and you can go on the other side and you can just walk through and look at the art. So here's what I would do. If I wanted to do like a cute little weekend outing that didn't cost a lot of money, I would definitely go start off with the art gallery, walk around there slowly, just kind of absorb everything, then go across the way and go to the library that's there and, hang out, look at some books, all of that stuff. And then, hit one of the coffee shops that are along the Shawnee Mission area. There's some cute little things around there. IKEA is also, and it's in the same area as IKEA. So if you really wanted to be like all quaint and cozy, you could like, hit IKEA first if you're so inclined, or if you're someone who might end up getting caught up in IKEA forever, start with the library, start with the then go to the art gallery and then maybe like go, okay, let's maybe see what's going on in IKEA and make that kind of your last stop. Sometimes when you make IKEA your first stop, that turns into your only stop because you're so like fascinated with everything that is going on in there. Okay, now I went to Macken Park. So we're going to Macken Park. We are leaving Johnson County. Goodbye, Johnson County. We are going to Macken Park. That is north of the river. That is like in the downtown North Kansas City area. Now I think the first time I went to this park, I want to say it was either this year, I think it might have been last year, for the first time I went to the park because I didn't even know it was there. Because when I was going to downtown, North Kansas City, I was just going to like the restaurants there. I wasn't really walking around, but I actually went and walked with a friend who goes there all the time. And she's like, "Oh, girl, you gotta check this park." And I'm like, "Okay." And so I went. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I love it. It's super cute." Like they have like this trail thing, but like it's you can kind of see, it's like a very simple trail. There's playground equipment there. I think there's like also things for sports there as well. It's just a nice little, place to go. It's got a nice family vibe, but also you can go, like maybe you don't have your kids at the time. It's a nice place to go and walk or jog. Beautiful scenery. It's really funny. I like was there taking pictures and it was cold. that day. And when I was posting the pictures, people were like, "Girl, did you go out there today?" I mean, I think it was like 20 degrees outside. But, I'm like, I want to get these pictures. I want to do the videos because if you follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, YouTube Shorts, I do that. I go to these parks, I take video because I want to show off, how great these parks are, like the trails, the trees, and how it's just so simple to kind of go. And I go in the daytime, to be honest. I don't go to the parks at night, but I go in the daytime, usually in the morning or maybe early afternoon. There were some people walking, but not a lot of people because it was cold outside the day I went. But it's a very peaceful park, and they've got shelter houses. I think they're closed right now, but it's a great place if during the season want to, go and book a nice picnic. And also what I love is that, let's say you book this picnic, there are restaurants nearby and you could go, if you're meeting up with people and you've, booked your shelter house, you guys can go do like a potluck. You can go do some takeout from there and just kind of sit and eat and hang out. So yeah, the kind of place where that's something I totally would do. If I didn't feel like catering, I'd be like, hey, let's just get some takeout and like go here and like meet up and like hang out. So that it's a great kind of park for that. Okay, that is all I have for 2025. It's in the books, you guys. It's in the books. I'm so excited. Like, I've got all these plans for 2026. And, there's more museums to see. There's train rides I need to do. I also want to ice skate. And what's so funny is that I'm like, it's really warm outside. So I'm probably gonna have to ice skate indoors. I'm gonna have to find like an indoor place during the winter to go ice skate because it's like it's been on my list for 2 years and I haven't been able to do it because either like the outside rinks. I'm like, I don't know if I want to be trying to like skate when it's like 60 degrees outside. So I'm like, okay, maybe I just need to like go and do like a skating on the inside because I'm not going to be skating too long. Like I'm probably going to skate for about 30 minutes to an hour tops because I haven't gone ice skating since the 90s. So I don't imagine that I'm going to be like, yeah, let me just try to like, do some figure eights or something like that. That is not going to happen. I'm going to try to go around the rink twice and then that will be my ice skating. Okay. That's kind of like, what I'm going to do. I don't have big plans to do anything too fancy. So I've got that. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to there's a train in Belton when it gets warmer that they do this really cool train situation. They also have a miniature train in the Northland that I kept wanting to go and every time I tried to go, it's either too hot or it's raining or something like that. So, those are things that I want to kind of knock out when the weather gets warmer and they start that season again. There's also some museums I didn't get to this year before they went dark. And, there's some community theater I want to see and all of that. And then plus I've got, I want to take a trip, a domestic trip outside of Kansas City at least once a year. And so I'm eyeing Denver because I haven't been to Denver in a very long time outside of the airport. It's been a long time since I've been and walked around Denver. My mom went to college there, so I want to visit her college campus, take some pictures and some video, hang out a little bit, probably do like maybe a 4 day trip. And so I'm looking at that as well. So I just have to be careful because Denver, you never know when it's going to snow. Okay. You could end up in a snowstorm in April, or even I would even say like May. Like I feel like the best time to go is like maybe late June, mid July, like one of those kind of situations because you just never know with Denver. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I want to kind of like check that out and I'm excited. And then I've got some foreign trips I want to do in 2027. And I'm just balancing everything out because I've got these other goals as well. And I think like part of the Quaint and Cozy KC lifestyle for me is just doing these things without blowing a budget and, and without stressing myself out, trying to like pack too many things, pack so many things in. And so just kind of like trying to blend and balance everything the best way that I can. And somebody asked me maybe a couple days ago, like what my ultimate goal is for this podcast, for this lifestyle, for all of this. And really is, it's for me, it's like a love letter to Kansas City, but not just Kansas City. I know I've got people that listen to this podcast that live in different places. Like I can see my analytics. And, I've got Midwesterners all over the world. And maybe it's not even just Midwesterners that I want to reach. I want to reach anybody. You've got a town, a county, a state that you live in. There's some great things going on there It might not be. I always say this. I lived in California. I lived in Newport, Rhode Island. Like, those are two, like, and those are great. I've lived in the mountains of Santa Fe. Like, those are great places and they were beautiful places. But this is a beautiful place too, Kansas City in its own way. It's a different kind of beauty. And so, really, as I've gotten older, I've learned to really appreciate that beauty comes in all forms, right? All forms. And so, if I can appreciate the beauty in Kansas City, that helps me to better appreciate the beauty when I go to visit California, when I go to visit Scotland, when I go to visit like Morocco, like wherever it is that I'm going to visit. If I can appreciate my own city, then I'm definitely going to be able to appreciate someone else's. Okay. And now that I'm getting off my soapbox, for more information about me, you can go to quaintandcozykc.com. You can go to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook under Quaint and Cozy KC as well. Thanks so much for all of the support. My numbers have gone up this year, which has been really good. This is like a labor of love for me, and I really do appreciate all the positive feedback and everything that I've been getting from the podcast. You guys are great. Take care, be safe, and 2026, I guess we are waiting for you. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye.